Thank you for this amazing, insightful words. Allow me now to welcome the next panel discussion and welcome my guest, Your Excellency, Dr. Etienne, Ambassador of Austria, Your Excellency, Archbishop, Apostolic Nuncio, Ambassador of Holy See, to the panel discussion. Please. Thank you, Your Excellencies, for attending this session and for your, we're looking forward for your insightful words. Let me start with introducing my esteemed guest, His Excellency Dr. Etienne, Ambassador of the Republic of Austria and United Arab Emirates, and Your Excellency Archbishop Christophe Kassis, Apostolic Nuncio, Ambassador of the Holy See. Your Excellencies, this panel's discussion topic is Diplomacy and faith, strengthening cross-culture. In the era, on this era, all over the world, we have conflicts and we have different mindsets, and we need to work together, especially the diplomacy involvement for the interfaith. And of course, now the interfaith and to work together and understand the importance of this cross-culture work, it's basically strengthen the beliefs. If you allow me to start a question, Your Excellency, how can diplomats incorporate spiritual values to build trust and cooperation among diverse cultures?
First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to be with you here today. Especially, I convey my regards to His High Excellency Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, Minister of Tourism and Coexistence, and to the Emirates scholars for arranging this event. First of all, I would like to say that diplomacy, it is a kind, I will see it, it is to connect people, to try to create bridges, and especially also to try to solve problems, not using the force, but through dialogue and communication. And to be a diplomat, it means to have to know the field where you are working. And for this reason, wherever you go, we as diplomats, we change our way of working, not in principle in the basic things, no, but in the way of dealing with matters. Therefore, the religious field is very important. I can consider it in all countries. It's not something. The pillar. Yes, because it's connected to humans. No, yes. We as humans, we have this tendency, and it is something in our nature to be open to God. Each one has his different faith, his different conviction, his relationship with God can be diverse. But what is common, I have to say it, it's we humans. For this reason, religions are there in order to educate the humans to worship God and to love each other and to know how to live with each other, because we are all created by God and we belong to the same family of, call it, humanity. Therefore, a diplomat has a big role to work in this field, to know first the religions, the confessions, where is working, in order to establish this kind of understanding, respect. There are some sensibilities. We should be very careful about it, not to offend others. And the main thing I conclude, I say that it's important that to come not to deal with people with your own, what we call it, convictions, okay? You should listen. Exactly. When you listen, you understand, and then you have to deal with the person, and this is a sign of respect.
Exactly, Your Excellency, and this is what you're saying. I think this is the pillar and the key concept that we need to listen, and this is the whole definition of tolerance. Dr. Etienne, Your Excellency, I have the question. How about education? And how important education about interfaith? How important to embed education about interfaith in youth and culture, and why this is now a key concept to increase and promote tolerance and coexistence?
Thank you very much, and good morning, Sabah al-Khair. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. I want to thank you and Emirates Scholars and Trends for organizing this very important and really timely conference on an issue, as we discussed before. It couldn't be more timely. We just had a terrorist attack in Austria, a stabbing attack this weekend, which is why one of the participants could not come. We had a foiled terrorist attack we learned about yesterday in Vienna at the main station, where a 14-year-old wanted to stab people. Both self-radicalized on Instagram and TikTok. So yes, it is very important to focus on education, to have religious institutions where those people are well embedded. We need to foster a culture of tolerance, as is done here in the United Arab Emirates, as well as in other countries. We try to do the same, but we also reach our limits with certain communities. So we need education being an all-encompassing concept. It's not only the school and the university. You need the cooperation of the communities. You need the cooperation of the mosques or the synagogues, the churches, the religious institutions, so that we can really, from the very beginning, instill a different mindset into people, a mindset of tolerance, of acceptance, of seeing the other as equal, and of rejecting violence. And later, and don't want to speak on his behalf, but Luai, he will be here as well, and he can give you a very personal testament to the importance of education, as he was growing up in Saudi Arabia with a different schedule and curriculum in Saudi Arabia in the 90s. Very different values, very different teachings on other Abrahamic religions, to say the least. No surprise that 9/11 then happened with a lot of Saudi participation, unfortunately. A lot has been done since then, a lot of progress, a lot of successes. Now a very different Saudi Arabia has emerged, a very open one, a pluralistic, more and more, following the example and the path of the UAE. And this is really very encouraging.
Exactly, Dr. Etienne. And just to have a small note, I think, and actually, of course, inspired by your words, the source of education, the terror attack came from, their source of education was TikTok. So the source of education that affect matter. And this will take me to the second question, Your Excellency. How interfaith and tolerance will make people accept different culture and accept different beliefs and different religion, and how diplomats will promote that acceptance?
Yeah, very interesting question. Listen, I will depart to answer you from the document on human fraternity that was signed by His Holiness Pope Francis in 2019 and Dr. Ahmed Al-Tayyib, the Sheikh Al-Azhar, Grand Imam of Al-Azhar. And I also avail myself of the opportunity to ask you to pray for His Holiness Pope Francis. He's in the hospital in a critical situation. So pray for him, remember him, because he's a man of peace, of dialogue. And he came here to sign this document, with Sheikh Al-Azhar. And with the hospitality of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. I want to say that in this document, if we read it very well, we can answer the question. Because in this document, they talk about what we call it, the acceptance of the other, not to manipulate others through religion. Religion can never be a means to incite people to violence, to use it as an instrument for selfish and limited interpretation. It should be used always as a bridge to others, because religion should be a way to unite, not to divide. Therefore, the work of diplomats in this field is to promote these values, but countries are not like other like religions because are based on secular system, no? Especially in the West, some countries. For this reason, they have to base it and translate it into human values. You see, we have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We have the International Covenant on political and civil also rights. We have International Covenant on economic, social, and cultural rights. So we can translate this through this means. In this way, we can enter.
To governmental acts.
And just to clarify here, in the Holy See, we have many dicasteries dealing with these matters. I will mention 2 or 3 of them in this field.
Please.
We have dicastery for interreligious dialogue, which is created to open up and have a kind of approach, fraternal approach with all different religions. And we have a dicastery for the unity of Christians and Judaism also to be connected with the Jewish community. And then we have what we call it the dicastery for the integral human development, which works basically on promotion of peace, of understanding, of dialogue.
Thank you, Excellency. And also, if I'll go back to Your Excellency, Dr. Etienne, what is the significance of culture diplomacy in promoting global understanding and cooperation in a way that how we can diplomats involved in cooperation and how we can and how significant this will be affecting the culture?
Thank you very much, and I could not underline enough in times like these the importance of cultural diplomacy. It could be regarded as something not important, encompassing music and some concerts and not real diplomacy, right? But in fact, it is the very essence of diplomacy because it brings people together, it builds bridges, as His Excellency has so well said. We see it in the United Arab Emirates with all the initiatives here, with the Abrahamic Family House, which is really now celebrating its 2nd anniversary. Just yesterday, with initiatives in cooperation with UNESCO, rebuilding religious sites in Mosul. Was just opened a mosque that was destroyed. Very important to do this. Austria is as well very much engaged in cultural diplomacy, in intercultural and interreligious dialogue. We just had a very successful first round of dialogue in the Abrahamic Family House last year in November. It was a tremendous success with religious leaders from all faiths from Austria coming here. We have interreligious dialogues as well with Morocco and Indonesia. And we also try to build bridges with cultural diplomacy and bring people together who otherwise wouldn't sit in the same room. And by sharing experiences together, cultural experiences, and by focusing on what unites us and not what divides us, they will find common ground, and then this will inspire others to follow their way. This is the positive example we need in this world now more than ever.
Absolutely. Thank you, Your Excellencies. We have 1 minute. I will give it to the audience if anyone has a question for the panelist. Mr. Mark, please, Your Excellency. If we can have a mic, please. It's okay. I'll just give you the...
Thank you. It's not so much a question as a comment, but I was so moved by the concert yesterday and the example of cultural diplomacy represented by Arabic music played by Israeli Jews and Arab musicians together and pulling together a repertoire from across the Middle East. It was really, really beautiful. And I just wanted to put that out there and commend Emirates Scholar for arranging that. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you. In 10 seconds, if you have any closing remark, Excellency, I'll give 10 seconds for each for any closing remark.
Emirates is a model for, you see, tolerance and coexistence, and it is also a model for other countries. And the Holy See, as you know, is also working on this same line. This is the result was the signing of this document on human fraternity. Even though we go also further past not only we talk about tolerance, but also acceptance of the other and respect of others that it is here existing. But we, in our terminology, we use acceptance of the other. You see, and as a person like me has different things.
That's the whole idea.
And really, this country, I am here since 2 years, and really I'm learning many things from this wisdom way of looking at, you see, at life and at promoting this human fraternity.
Thank you, Excellency. Your Excellency, Dr. Etienne, if you have a 10-second remark.
I couldn't have said it better. We're really inspired by what we see every day in the UAE, by our host country, by conferences like yours today.
Thank you, sir.
A conference as such will not solve the problems, of course, but what I really hope and I'm confident is that conferences like yours today and many others and the path of which the UAE is leading on, it will inspire others to be the change that we need, to be a positive example, to bring it into their personal daily lives, to set initiatives on their own, and then we are multipliers, and then we see the change. If, of course, we are passive and just sitting here and saying nice and khalas and goodbye, then we will not see change. But if this inspires us to take action into our personal lives and to make it even take up initiatives, that's what I would hope as a result of this conference, and really see then the change.
Sure. Thank you. Please give a round of applause for my esteemed panelists, and thank you very much. Thank you, Excellency. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for this speech from السؤال هل في إمكانية لتأسيس اتحاد عالمي دولي للأطياف الدينية المختلفة ويكون مقره في الإمارات، بما أن احنا تبنينا هذا الحدث والمؤتمر الثاني لحوار الحضارات والتسامح على مستوى العالم؟
This question should not be addressed to me only, you see, addressed to the highest authorities. But I can say that we have already some centers, like a center in Spain, no, for dialogue of civilizations, you see, and regions. And there are, how to say, other initiatives sometimes are done in United Nations. Recently, they are organizing this kind of event. That's this, if I can tell you, because I cannot to say more than that now.
I think it would be very important to build on what already exists with the center in Spain, with the groundwork being done every day by the UAE, by European countries like Austria, but also the Holy See, very active in that regard. And what would be very important by building such a center, which I would think would be very important, is to keep politics out, as politics would then strain relations at some point necessarily. So the challenge would be to build it in a way that it has a strong focus on what unites us and setting initiatives while keeping petty politics out, because this would then at some point destroy it, while focusing on our common humanity, right?